Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. It's so hot here. I sat for an hour and I realized there's no fan here. We tried to have a small fan here so that we can have a little bit of ventilation. Part of the transit is part of the training, including myself, is to endure the heat. We actually are in the U.S. We are very blessed. We are spoiled in that our summers in California are not as hot and humid as Asia, for example. Asia summers are very humid, very hot. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't survive in such an environment. So when you meditate, you try to avoid the drafts. So you don't want to sit under a fan blow straight at you. Okay, it's not healthy for you. So what we try to do is a tip for you is that when it's too hot, all you want to do is a little bit of wind every now and then, because it's very psychological. If you only have some relief, then it's bearable, and then you can continue to sit. Okay, so don't be self-indulgent like most Westerners are. It's too hot, I'm gonna blow a fan, turn on the AC and blow in my face and stuff like that. It's weakness. You can't handle the heat. You can't handle the cold. That's why part of this Chan training is learn to endure it and just get a little bit of relief. That's all. Okay. So here, when it's in this hot here, I only try to turn on a fan at a very, very low speed. So you can barely have a breeze every now and then. And that's good enough for you to practice in the heat. Okay? Just think about in the real world, in Asia, in India, when the Buddha was teaching his disciples in India, they didn't have any fan. So there is no regular small piece of draft that will cool you down regularly, periodically, because the wind is going to blow whenever it feels like blowing. And it turns out that part of that practice is that some of you who endure the heat for a long time, okay, keep enduring it, and pretty soon, when you are at the point where you can't take it anymore, you find that for many of you, you experience that all of a sudden there's a draft coming from somewhere, okay? And that's usually a response from the Dharma protectors, because, thank you very much. Come on, yeah. The Dharma protectors who are hard at work protecting you when you meditate. When you meditate, you need someone to protect you. Okay, that's why they call Dharma protectors. That's why you want to sit with people like us, where we have Dharma protectors ourselves. If you're able to make it to the temple, there's no substitute for that. And if not, even when you're here on online like this, you also receive help as well. So it turns out if you bear it, you'll be surprised to find out that the Dharma protectors are touched, so they actually create a little bit of wind to cool you down and to encourage you. That's what happened quite often when I was practicing. Okay? Now they don't do it anymore. They feel like I should endure more than you. So, but when I was practicing, it's quite often I would endure it because I was tough. I was younger and tough. I said, I'm supposed to endure it. So I endured it, and after a while, the funny thing happened. The Dharma protectors would then create a wind to cool me down periodically. This is how I came up with this tradition of using a very, very gentle fan. In the U.S. here we use something made from Germany, Rowenta fans, where they have something called a silent mode. It's extremely light. It's virtually nothing at all. And so that itself is a simulation, imitation of what used to happen to me when I was practicing in the early days, okay? Since now that my Dharma protectors are busy doing something else more important, I need to refresh myself, to encourage myself to keep on doing this, okay? But it's good to see you again. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask questions about anything that interests you, that bothers you, that you have questions about, or you have some doubts about. This is the time. Because let me assure you, this is what I didn't have when I was practicing. I used to have so many questions for years. For several years, I had questions every single time I sat. And then I would ask questions, and no one could give me an answer at all. So this is, and I realized that had I had those questions answered, my progress would be a lot speedier than not. But that's the difference between you and me, in that I had to endure that in order to teach you, because I have this thirst. After all these years, I said, I wish I could ask my Chinese teacher, Master YongHua, just one question. Because he told me after he left that I could refer to his disciples to ask questions. I did that, and none of them really could answer my problems, could resolve my problems at all. So I really was yearning for the chance to ask someone questions so that I could resolve these issues. Simple questions like, when I was practicing at first, for the first several years, was I doing the full lotus properly? Because each person told me different versions of the full lotus. And Master YongHua's photos show different versions as well. So I had a simple question like that. So when something goes wrong, I say, oh, maybe I'm not sitting in full lotus properly, okay? So little things like that, they really gnaw at you in the back of your mind, okay? So feel free to ask questions, okay? You don't have to decide what's important, what's not important. The objective is for you to resolve these doubts, because doubts is what's gonna disrupt you and disturb you, so that you won't be able to enter samadhi. Our objective, my objective, is to help you enter samadhi. That's it. That's why I'm doing this. Other teachers may have different agendas, but mine is to help you discover this thing that you're able to create for yourself, the ability to enter samadhi, okay? So that you can draw upon that. This is a very wonderful skill that all of my students, for example, today we have a nurse here. She says, when there's a need, when especially there's dire needs, and especially in particular, this is a tip for you, especially when you are threatened, okay? You will be able to enter samadhi very easily, okay? So that's a secret in Chan. That's why a lot of people, especially our students, our followers, they're able to enter samadhi at will. And when you enter samadhi, you are able to do extraordinary things, okay? Because this is a need to. Okay? So this is a very wonderful skill you're developing for yourself that you can use the rest of your life. Okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful gift that the Chinese Chan masters give us. Okay? And personally, I really am so grateful that I wish to be able to share it with you. Okay? That's All right, so feel free to ask questions. Yes, over here we have blue. We have some transmission problems here. Huh? We better fix this problem, internet problem here.
Emitofuo, to Master, I would like to ask, is it important when we sit that we're not moving our body at all? Or sit longer and you can move your body?
Okay, very good. Good question. I used to have this question too myself. So question is, should you, when you sit, should you not move, or should you go for which one is more important, sitting longer or sitting without moving? Okay. Personally, I go for longer sits, okay, because longer sits is very, very difficult, okay, because what happens during the way I teach Chan, train you Chan, is that the longer sits is something that you need to achieve only by learning not to quit. Set a goal and not to quit. So the lesson is very, very simple. You set a goal, and then you, no matter what happens, you don't quit until you reach the goal. Okay? So that's why, and if you do that, then you will achieve what the Chinese sages taught us. The longer you sit, you will naturally develop samadhi. Okay, so by itself, that's the secret right there. By itself, unless you have this thing, you will not be able to sit long for a long time at all. Does anyone know what is this requirement for you to be able to sit for a long time? Anyone? What does it take to sit for a long time? Go ahead, Blue.
Emitofuo, to Master, could it be your mindset?
Your mindset, okay? Anyone else? Yes, Red. What does it take to sit long? It sounds very simple, to sit longer, but really it's not as simple as it sounds. What does it take to sit longer?
Blessings?
Blessings. Absolutely. If you have blessings, you'll be able to sit longer. And that's why the mere fact that if you are able to sit longer, conversely speaking, you also are generating a lot of blessings yourself, so that you can sit even longer. So it feeds on itself. Okay, so that's the first thing. You need to have blessings. Number two, you learn to develop the wisdom. What wisdom is that? To recognize when what makes you quit. In all of you, there is this trigger here that makes you quit. Okay? You better recognize it, because if you don't, you will not be able to do anything important. Okay? When push comes to shove, you will quit. Okay? And so that's why this simple teaching, just sit longer, is a very, very ingenious. Okay, and after you sit longer, after you're able to sit longer, then it's easier for you to sit still. So it doesn't matter. Okay, don't be too worried about it. Naturally, when you sit by yourself, for example, you will fidget, you will move, that and stuff. But when you sit with a lot of people who are watching you, much easier for you not to move when you realize that you're being watched. Okay, so I found myself that when I sat by myself, I move, I slouch and stuff like that. But when I'm with people, I sit like a bell, don't move at all. Okay, quite commonplace. Okay, so I would go for long sits first. In summary, I'll go for long sits first, and then I would try to not move. Okay, because if you are able to sit long, during that long sits, you are able to not move, you get a lot more out of it, after the long sits. All right? Any other questions? I lost my screen here. I cannot see anyone at all. I only have four screens, 6 screens here. As a question on Plato Shi, and then next is Shannon. Okay, go ahead. Okay,
师傅你
Plato.
好，我的问题是，当我们打坐的时候，我会念佛或者是听咒，但是呢，坐的稍微久一点，这个腿就痛了，就不能集中精力去念佛或听咒了。我问，这个时候我是要，因为这个心嘛，它是来回转动的，它有的时候会听咒，有的时候呢就跑到这个痛点上去了。我这个时候要集中精力，集中在痛点上，还是集中在念佛或者听咒上？这就是我的问题。好，谢谢。
Okay, very good. Translation. Uh-oh. Don't have any translations?
Yeah, Zhihong.
May I translate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
sure. Thank you.
Okay, so Plato's question is, he said that when he felt the pain, he will recite Buddha's name or recite mantra. And sometimes it's so painful, he will be distracted, and then he will be paying attention to the pain. So now he asks, should he focus on the pain, or should he focus on recite the Buddha's name or recite mantra? That's the question. Thank you.
Okay. So what's the answer? It's a quite common problem you have as part of your training, is to, most of you will encounter these problems, that you do your practice, whatever it is, could be reciting Buddha's name, could be Hua Tou, could be reciting a mantra, could be reciting a poem or a sutra. It doesn't matter. As you sit longer, eventually you experience some pain and discomfort somewhere. Okay? For most people, it's the legs, the knees, the hips, and the back, and so forth. And to the point where you cannot focus on your Dharma door anymore, your Hua Tou anymore, and you must then think of the pain. So what to do? Okay. And follow the instructions. The instruction is what? Did I teach you to recite the Buddha's name? Did I insist on your reciting Buddha's name? Did I insist that you recite on the mantras? All I ask you to do at this stage is to endure it and not quit. To set a goal. Set a goal how long you're going to sit. And no matter what happens, no matter how painful it is, you sit until you reach the goal of how long you're going to sit. Okay? And that's the Chan training right there. Don't worry about reciting Buddha's name yet, because I assure you, the way you recite Buddha's name, after you sit longer and you don't quit and you do whatever it takes to sit longer, whether you, doesn't matter right now. I'm a little bit unorthodox in that the Chinese like you to sit a certain way. The Japanese will beat you up if you move or if you don't follow instructions. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not what the training is about. The training is about, again, I repeat for you, set a goal how long you're going to sit. Okay? And then when the challenge comes, whatever the reasons are, you're too painful, you're too bored, you are too whatever, okay? You don't listen to yourself. That's the key. Because who quits? You decide to quit. So at this stage here of your training, you're only learning not to listen to yourself. Okay? So it doesn't matter what you do. You can pay attention to the pain. You can switch the TV on. You can talk to someone on the phone. It doesn't matter. But you don't listen to that thought of quitting. That's critical. That's it. And you sit there, and the pain will remind you that it's there, it's unbearable, and you say, it may be unbearable, I'm not going to quit until I reach my time goal. That's it. And eventually, you extend the time goal next time, okay? So that you sit longer and longer and longer, and you see miracles will happen, okay? If you don't do that, you never understand what you are capable of. If you listen to yourself and you say, "Oh, this is too much. This is so much I can do. This is no longer really meditation. I'm only crying. I'm only thinking about my pain. I can't really recite anymore. I can't follow my breathing anymore." All those reasons, it doesn't matter. Okay, you listen to yourself and quit, then you never understand. You won't improve. Part of this training here, of the Chan training, is for you to learn at first not to quit, so that you can sit longer. That's it. The goal is sit longer. Okay? Whatever it takes to sit longer, just sit longer. I have this weakness, okay? I couldn't take the pain like most of you. I hated the pain. I said, why would anyone intelligent, anyone smart would bear the pain? It's nonsense. But since the Chinese says you're supposed to take the pain and no one else could explain to me why, I said, if the Chinese could do it, so can I. Let me do it myself and then reject it. It says, no, this is nonsense. But until I do it, okay, until I can do it, I should not criticize them, because these are the teachings from the sages. So what I did is I did whatever it took to survive. I would call on someone and talk on the phone. He said, I need to talk to you because I'm in such pain. I need someone to distract me from my pain, okay? Which on the TV, whatever it takes. And sometimes none of it works anymore. I would take one grape. I love grapes, okay? I take one piece of grape, okay? And put it in my mouth, and then squeeze it very, very slowly so it lasts. So I only gave myself one grape per wave of pain. So I would squeeze it gently and suck the juice and so gently and gently, okay? And that's how I distracted myself to sit longer, okay? And then I said, gee, I can do this. Now, let's wait for the next wave so that I can have the next piece of grape. You see, whatever it takes, it doesn't matter. Okay, but the one thing I learned is that the first thing in Chan is don't be impressed by people who say I can meditate and I sit in full lotus and so forth. It doesn't matter. The first thing you learn in Chan is not to listen to yourself. That's what I picked up from Chinese sages. All right? Just set a goal. Sit longer. It doesn't matter how you do it at this stage. Okay? Does it help? That's all. You don't need to understand. You do it, you see why. You don't do it, you never understand why. All right? What you're capable of. When you're able. That's the first step, by the way. When you learn not to listen to yourself, that's the first step towards eventually being able to control your ego. If you can't even do that, you'll never be able to control your ego. Never. All right? You're curious. You said, if this self here, this ego here, is really nonsense, is this non-existent, this is empty, okay? You can talk all you want, but the first step is not to listen to it, because it quits when it feels like, period. Okay? That's why you should be so grateful that the Asian patriarchs taught us that. Whereas when you go to the Western meditation teachers, they all tell you exactly the opposite. Don't push yourself. If you don't, it's too painful, it's okay, quit, unbuckle, and so forth. Okay? But that's not what Chan is about. All right? I hope it helps. You can do it. It's just no one ever told you it's a good thing to do it, that's all. Okay? It's by design. It's so painful that you can only think of the pain. And the sharper the pain, the stronger your concentration. That's why. That's all. Okay? All right. Shannon, go ahead.
Hello, Master. Thank you.
Hello.
I have a technical question. The hand position, should the hand
Yeah.
under where the heels are, or can they be forward of the legs?
It doesn't matter. I had the same question as well. I said, is it, the idea is to be comfortable. You put your hands in this mudra position, called Vairocana position, okay? The thumbs are touching each other, okay? That's a very good thing, because eventually when you become more, your mind is more still, you see that there's a chi, there's an energy that runs between, the thumbs. So that's why it should be together. But you'll find out that, especially you're from Asia and you follow the Chinese Taoists, you discover that's what they stress. You need to close the circuit so that the chi flows stronger. Okay, yes, but it's just a starter. So you do that, and you put it anywhere you're comfortable. Okay, where there's no tension in your arm, you can relax, and that you can you naturally find somewhere where you can put the hands on that down, that you will feel more comfortable. I'm not the same as you, okay? Because we wear sashes, okay? This is called a sash. And these sashes are made in Taiwan, okay? And if we put our hands on there for too long, then the sweat will ruin it a lot faster. And I'm cheap, so I used to meditate and take off my sash so that I would, my clothes would last a lot longer. Some last like 2 decades without any problems. I don't wear them at all. But we don't have the luxury when we are in public. So the point here is that you put it anywhere you feel like, okay? And as long as you're comfortable, and don't worry. That is one of the things that you should do, and just relax. That's all. Doesn't matter where at all. It doesn't matter whether it's forward or on top of the legs or behind the legs, closer to your body and so forth. It doesn't matter at all. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead, Chu. Microphone. What happened to the microphones? Just two? I thought we had more microphones than that.
Emitofuo Master.
Hello.
When you meditate, the first thing we do, we focus on our Thiền.
Yes.
Does that eventually, like, you forgot that you focus on your Thiền? Like, I'm not sure how you explain it. Is that normal? That somehow you, like, did you really not focus on your Thiền at all?
Okay. You mean like after a while you lose track of the Thiền?
I'm not sure if I lose track of it, but it's so like now you on your mind or.
Okay. All right. Okay. The question is, I repeat the question because I'm not sure that all of you could hear it. Okay. The question is, when you meditate, we teach you to focus on the navel, okay, Thiền. That's what the Taoists call it, the core right there. The Taoists know the Thiền as your navel, and you go, let me see, I forgot. I'm terrible. I'm getting older and I don't remember the exact details anymore. So basically, it's about a few fingers, 2 or 3 fingers below your navel, and about 2 fingers in. That's what the Thiền is supposed to be, according to the Taoists. Okay? Many of you are from China, from Asia. Many of you are probably exposed to the Taoist approach of meditation. Very powerful, very useful. Okay, that's what they focus, tell you to focus on the Thiền right there. That's why they do the Lian Dan, where they actually work on that. But it's an expedient only. We also, for the Buddhist, Thiền is your navel. Okay, never mind about it. It's a general area. So at first, we teach you the Thiền, and then eventually you see that it moves. It morphs, it changes, it constantly changes as your skills improve. It's not the way that the Taoists practice at all. So we use the same word because it's Thiền, because that general area is where your qi hai, that's where your qi is stored and it's packed. As you meditate, the more you are able to concentrate, the more qi are packed right there. So that is could be likened to your battery for your body. So when you meditate, you charge up the battery. When you're in pain, when you're struggling with your pain, when you're discomfort, actually it's packing more energy is packed into that battery right there. So that's why it's very desirable for you to endure the pain, to endure the discomfort, because after that, your head will clear up. So this person, for example, Plato asked earlier, he said, what if I can't concentrate anymore on my recitation, on my mantra, and so forth? I say, it's only temporary, okay? Eventually, by bearing the pain right there, it will pack more qi and will increase the concentration, and therefore the pain will go away eventually, and his concentration will naturally improve and much easier for him to enter samadhi and develop higher and higher level of samadhis. Okay, so the dandian there is basically for us is an expedient. Okay, don't be attached to it. What we tell you to do is at first focus on your dandian, and eventually you will find out. I tell you first right now, when you find out as you improve, it will change. It will change in form. It will change in feel. It will change in location. It will disappear even. For me personally, I never could find a dandian at first for years. So for years I sat there, my dandian, let me think about my dandian, but I couldn't feel anything for years and years. And later, that's when I persevered because I just follow instructions. And so I persevered. Eventually, I discovered that it doesn't matter. The real reason behind it is you think, you focus on the dandian so that you don't indulge in thinking upstairs in your head. So you keep on thinking your dandian, okay? So that you pull chi away from the head, so it goes down to your dandian. That's why, so that it will help reduce your false thinking, reduce your thinking. False thinking, as the Chinese put it, is basically thinking, your thoughts. So if you focus on your lower and your midsection, and then you tend to think less than you were not to focus on the midsection. Okay, so it's only an expedient. Don't worry about it. Okay, and eventually you will understand eventually what the dandian really means. Okay, at the advanced level, you then begin to see why it's called dandian and why it's not the way that people in the world, worldly people, especially the Taoists, insist on those things. What the Taoists know is actually part of the picture, the beginning of the picture. It's a lot more in the dandian than their wisdom teaches them. Okay, so it's an expedient. Okay, just focus on that, and you see. Anyone else? Ju Mountain Temple, go ahead.
네, 저 수행하는 거는 관계없는 질문인데요. 저희 부모님이 강아지를 한 마리 키우는데 강아지가 태어날 때부터 다리가 안 좋아서 수술을 했는데 수술로도 경과가 안 좋아서 지금 완전히 다리나 고관절, 허리 쪽이 완전히 이렇게 어린 나이인데도 완전히 망가진 상태라 강아지가 이제 신음소리나 비명을 가끔 지르기도 하는데 그 강아지를 위해서 뭐 염불이라든지 할 수 있는 방법이 있을지 강아지가 그 어린 나이인데도 죽을 때까지 이제 계속 아픔을 견디면서 살아야 되는 걸 보는 게 너무 옆에서 보는 게 고통스러워서 해줄 수 있는 게 있는지 궁금합니다.
Hi, Master. This is not related to the meditation, but I have a question. The question is about our dog. The dog has a problem with his legs. So we did the surgery, but eventually his back is not working properly, so he can't really move. And what happened is every time he moves or any situation, he starts to scream and he's in pain. So how can I help our dog? He's really young too, and I can't believe to see him for the rest of his life. He's in pain, and just looking at him, it caused me a lot of suffering as well. Is there any way we could help him, such as maybe reciting for him?
Yes, you can help. But however, I don't recommend it because what is called, this is part of your learning as well, is as you practice meditation, if you follow our rigorous training schedule, you progress very quickly, okay? And when it happens, you have to follow this one rule: do not meddle. Do not help others, because you will not be able to handle the consequences of helping others. Meaning, for example, as you have more concentration, you can help relieve more pain from your dog, okay? But when you do that, you basically are taking on the pain of your dog into your own body, and you may not be able to handle it. So it's not a good way to help the dog, okay? The better way is, so the first thing, I'm glad you asked the question, it pertains to meditation too, okay? Meditation is developing the strength here, strength of mind, okay? And the strength of mind here, you can use it towards helping others, okay? And part of the natural process of practicing Chan is you'll be able to have the strength to help others, okay? And be careful, do not abuse it, because there's some consequences. You don't have enough wisdom to be able to help others yet. Case in point, my teacher, my Chinese teacher, Master YongHua, he forbid us to help others. Because in our practice, we practice these mantras, these hands and eyes, Dharma, in our lineage, that enables us to heal. This is from the Guanyin Great Compassion Dharma, where we practice both the Great Compassion mantra and the 42 hands and eyes. That's only in our lineage, okay? And so this is a very powerful healing process that can be very easily abused, okay? Because so we are forbidden from healing others with these processes, okay? Because once you start healing that, people will give you more money, and then all you think about all day is to help others, heal more people so that you get more money. You can build bigger temple. So that doesn't help in the big picture. You make yourself greedy, that's all, okay? When you help others, in order to ultimately help yourself, you are not really helping others at all. You're really helping yourself, okay? And that's the first weakness. That's the first problem. Second problem is that because of your greed, you're motivated by greed. You help others because of greed. And you will not most likely be able to handle the consequences because you're meddling. The dog is supposed to sick from his karmic debts, okay? And you are disturbing the natural settlement of the karmic debts. His dog is supposed to suffer so that he pays off his debts, okay? When you meditate, you're in pain, your leg's in pain, is because you are settling your karmic debts, okay? The pain is from your karmic debts, okay? So when you sit there and you do the pain, you're paying off those debts. Same thing, your dog, when he experiences pain, he's actually paying off his karmic debts too, because it follows you until it's paid, okay? So I don't recommend that you help the dog directly. There are other ways to help the dog, okay? Where you could try without getting in trouble. And so talk to the abbot there, talk to the people there. They can recommend you a few things you could try to see. But at this stage here, I don't recommend any of you to try to meddle, to intervene and relieve others' pain and suffering, because you are, in doing that, you are shouldering the burden and you won't be able to handle it. And therefore, you're not ready yet for that. Okay? All right. So, yes, you can do, you can, there's some things you can do, hopefully, okay? But don't do silly things like meddling, because that will get you in trouble. And this is a common thing when you, especially you who follow Tibetans and practice mantras and so forth, you can develop some skills to begin to meddle. And I strongly urge you, it doesn't matter what mantras you practice, from Tibetans, from us, or from the Chinese, from the Vietnamese, don't meddle, because you will not be able to handle the consequences. Okay? Okay. Even in our temple, my own disciples, I allow them to meddle up to the point where they can handle it. Beyond that, okay, it's off limits. They're not allowed to meddle. Okay, all right. So it's yes, the dog can receive help, but by all means, do not meddle. Don't do it yourself. It's not wise. Okay, you can't handle it. All right. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay. No questions? Go ahead, Daniel. Red.
So, I don't know if it was because today I didn't sleep last night too much, but I was falling asleep during meditation right now, and I started finding a way to not fall asleep, and I think it's because, I guess you could say, like trauma from being a Zen center or whatever. They tell you not to look around. One time I got in trouble because I let my eyes roam a little bit. So I tried right now to let my eyes just go wherever and just continue on my meditation.
Uh-huh.
And it helped. I felt like I was able to concentrate, and I was able to stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering if it's okay to let your eyes just go wherever, especially if you don't have somebody, my eyes go all over the place. So is that okay?
Yes, it's okay. At this stage here, don't worry so much about the other instructions. Just sit longer. Do whatever it takes to sit longer. That's all. Let your eyes roam. But as long you continue to sit, it's okay. Okay. All right. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay. Just sit. Continue to sit. Don't quit. That's the mantra. Real mantras. Do not quit. Okay. Set a goal. Do not quit until you reach it. Okay. That's all. It's very, very simple. Anything else? It's the way I teach meditation is different from a lot of teachers, especially in my classes. The Chan meditation to me is a struggle. As long as you struggle in your practice, then you're learning Chan meditation, you're practicing Chan meditation. If you meditate and you really have no problems at all, then you will not make progress yourself. In order for you to make progress to me is one thing, okay? Ultimately, progress is for you to increase your samadhi level, okay? That's it. And you can talk all you want. You can say, I can recite mantras and so forth. I can help 10,000 people and so forth. But it's not the main purpose of my teaching you chant. It's just for you to keep on improving and improving and improving. You can do it. Don't sell yourself short. Don't say that this is as far as I can go, this is my limit. That's nonsense. That's yourself, that's your ego that's speaking, who wants you to quit. So you keep improving, 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 improving. And that's part of the fun, by the way. Okay? Chant is a lot more fun when you continue to make progress. You continue to improve, increase your samadhi power. And believe me, you keep the one mind only. Don't quit, and no matter how hard it is, you don't quit. Okay? And you follow instructions. This is what the Chinese have that most of us don't have. Okay? And that is the Chinese chant is one thing. Okay? Chinese chant is to follow your good knowing advisors' instructions. That's it. So whatever he tells you to do, she tells you to do, you follow the instruction. That's it. No rhyme or reason, just follow instructions. Okay? And contrast that with the Vietnamese or the Cambodians or the Thai and so forth. Okay? The Chinese, that instruction right there is that follow the good knowing advisors, meaning that whatever you're told to do, just do it. That's all. You don't need to understand. Okay? Because you can't. It's so wise. It is so profound. It is so ingenious that you won't be able to understand. So don't even bother. You should be so grateful that good knowing advisors deem that you're worthy to receive instructions, to give you instructions. That's it. Okay? And that's why through that simple process of following the good knowing advisors' instructions, they produce so many wonderful sages in China. Okay? Compared to other countries, okay, the Chinese produce the highest number of sages in Buddhism. Okay, so that by following a simple rule, find a good knowing advisor and follow the instructions. That's it. Okay, so for us in this 21st century and later, and for us to understand and get better at chant, meditation, we have to do the same thing. Okay, we simply follow the good knowing advisor's instructions. That's it. Okay, so right now, I'm not a good knowing advisor because I don't have any real wisdom, but what I gave you is the Chinese instructions. Master YongHua is the best chant teacher I know of. I have a chance, the honor to meet with in person, okay, and who taught me a few times. That's it. After that, all the other chant teachers, the other meditation teachers, I found them to be falling very short, far short of his standards, of his attainment, of his wisdom, of his depth. Okay? So I'm sharing that with you, that just sit longer and don't quit. That's all. And when you sit longer, today's theme is to sit longer. When you sit longer, okay, the one thing that's going to happen to all of you is that you're supposed to have more problems. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be sitting there and you feel so peaceful and so blissful. No, You're supposed to struggle. The more you struggle, the more you make progress. Because when you struggle like that, especially when it hurts so much, your ego says, stop it. This is too much. I can't take it anymore. You know, that is called quitting. That is called a false thought. Okay? Your ego, yourself, is full of it. Okay? So you will when you sit longer, you will experience a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, and you endure it more and more and more, to the point I assure you that I too struggle. Okay? But unlike you, it doesn't bother me anymore. That's the difference. We all struggle. Okay? That's necessary for us to make progress. In order to make progress, let me assure you, you have to struggle. Okay? Yeah. And in that struggling process, and you're not quitting, you will eventually rise above it, and you won't be bothered by the pain, by the discomfort anymore. Okay? You are in control. Okay? You cannot control. Let's face it. When you live, you cannot control what others think of you. Whether they think good of you, well of you, and they think badly of you, you have no control over it. And they may think highly of you one moment, the next moment they think you're the worst person in the whole world. Okay? So you have zero control over that. All you have is control over how you react to it. Okay? So that is real control right there. No matter what happens, whether there's good weather, bad weather, praises or criticism, okay, liking or disliking you, all you can do is control yourself, not to take it negatively. Okay? And that requires wisdom. It requires first the ability to take the negative energy directed at you. Okay? Especially when people criticize you. Okay? And I have a kitchen manager at Way Mountain Temple. She works her butt off. Okay? She takes it so seriously. Every day has to be good food, good enough for people to get the nourishment and not get bored. And it's endless. She sacrifices. She lives in the kitchen, sleeps in the pantry, and so forth. Okay, I don't know how true that is. I only saw the army cot that she put in the pantry during a chanqi. Okay. So this lady here is totally dedicated to her job, okay, and she's so selfless in that way, okay. It's so remarkable, okay. At the same time, it's an act of being selfless, okay. You sacrifice yourself to serve, but at the same time, as soon as I criticize her, she can't take it. He said, I work so hard, and you're still not happy. What does it take to make you happy? Nothing will make me happy. She better know it by now. Doesn't matter. You give me an inch, I want a yard. You give me a yard, I want a mile. You give me a mile, I want Mount Sumeru. Okay? we are, so that's part of the training. You try your best, and this Chan meditation will eventually help you be in control of yourself. Okay, that's the only thing that matters. Okay, and that's a very hard thing to do. Okay, and it's doable. Only the Buddhists know how to do it. Okay, and only the Mahayana, especially Chan, they have the secrets, the secret recipes, the secret and the track record to train a lot of people to do it very quickly, to be able to overcome the ego. And when you, that's why, part of the building block of crushing the ego, okay, diminishing it gradually is not to listen to yourself. Don't quit. This ego loves for you to quit. It has all the reason in the world. It has all the magic in the world to make you quit. I fell prey to it. I fell for it for 10 years until I figured out. All right? Yeah. So, after all the struggle that you will endure, you go through this process. It's not easy. If you go through this, then you will be, I guarantee you, you'll be so pleased with yourself, so much happier. Okay, it's well worth it. That's what all my students who tough it out all these years, they all invariably told me. Whereas also at the same time, there's some who dropped out also say exactly the opposite. It's not worth it, so they quit. Couldn't take the difficulties. You couldn't take the challenges. Okay. Yeah. All right. So struggle is a good thing. Difficulties is a good thing. That's Chan right there. Okay. And if you struggle through this, you will, unlike the worldly pleasures where they will peak out. Okay. You take drugs. Anyone? It will get to reach a certain point and you will not enjoy it anymore. Okay? The Chan bliss is infinite. It gets better and better and better and better, I assure you. It's fascinating. It's the only thing infinite I know of, because it gets better. It still gets better. It's phenomenal. Okay, it's so fascinating. Okay, all right. Yes, is there a question? Go ahead.
GFCMC online asks, is transferring merits and virtues to your family members, wishing them healthy and no illnesses or disasters, wish them safe, is that considered meddling, or is that a reasonable way of transferring, a proper way of doing transferences?
It's reasonable. You're meddling a little bit, but that's reasonable. Okay. That form it's a form of meddling, but also in the spirit of giving. Whatever we do that is meritorious, that is good for ourselves, the spirit is that we don't keep it for ourselves, give it all away. Okay? So it's better for GFCMC to do it this way. You do the transference that we have, the verses of transference, which transfer the merit and virtue to all living beings in order for them to become enlightened, reach a pure land, and so forth. That's really the ultimate goodness. Okay? So you give it all to everyone, your merit and virtue to everyone, all the living beings, to help them. And then after that, then you say, with these blessings I'm getting from giving them away, can I give them to my family too, to help them as well? Because if I can't help my family, who am I to help others? Okay? So it's okay in that spirit of giving. All right? That's actually, it's wise to do that. Anyone else? Go ahead.
So Apple has a question. It says, recently when I sit at home, the first half hour I can feel comfortable, happy, and a little bit dozed off. Should I stop what I'm doing to close my eyes to meditation, or should I keep doing something? I used to do something to keep my sitting longer.
Yeah, because she's comfortable, I would try electric shocks. When you're too comfortable, try shocking yourself. You're like, we hit the button right there, so that. Of course, part of meditation is that after the struggle, the more you struggle, the more unbearable it is, and you don't quit, and you reach your goal, there's a prize that will naturally come. Okay? Your natural prize in a sense that it clears your head in a way that your head cannot be cleared. Immediately you see that, yes, the body is in pain, is not comfortable, but the head is so clear and you feel so relaxed, unlike you ever could before. But you know, if you don't have enough blessings, you will feel like, oh, this is not worth it. All I see is pain. And you focus on the pain instead of being able to see that after the pain right there, that you pay, you unbuckle and the pain goes away, actually there is a reward where the head clears up in a way that you cannot do. And that's what fascinated me about Chan meditation, by the way. That's why I discovered. For my entire life, I never could find peace, could never relax, always worried, because I'm bipolar, okay? And if not, this is something else that bothers me. So I'm always have worries and have a lot of worries. And after enduring those long sits, all of a sudden there's this peace and there is this quiet in the mind that I could not find anywhere. Okay, that's fascinating, and that's part of the reward, and that's what got me, and I could not find anything else that brings that kind of peace of mind, that kind of carefree, that freedom from worries, from external things, from other people. Okay? So it's a test. Now that I see some of you are going through this, yes, it's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be difficult. But don't do the impossible, okay? The way we teach you, because I know most of you are weak. Okay? Do it incrementally. Don't be crazy. Okay? I want you, this part of the training here is sit longer by 2 minutes. Okay? Every single time, that's all. Don't go until you pass out. That would be crazy. Okay? To sit, you watch yourself, you time yourself. That's all. You set a goal to sit longer every single time. Okay, maybe 2 minutes longer, 3 minutes longer. For me, I started with 2 minutes, and then And then it was, after a while, I said, 2 minutes? My mind now said, I can do it 2 more minutes. What's the big deal? So then I said, no more 2 minutes. I went for 5 minutes. And then after I got used to 5 minutes, I said, okay, I'm going to go 10 minutes. You keep on reaching for the impossible dream, if you will. Okay? You keep on challenging yourself. Don't settle for the expected. And eventually you break through. And that clarity of mind, that peace of mind, that exhilaration, okay, from after the discomfort is convinced me is well worth it. Okay, I hope you discover that. It's not as hard as it sounds. It's very manageable. Go incremental. Don't go crazy. Okay, you always keep track. Okay, until you understand. All right. Anyone can do it. Trust me. There's no magic to it. It's just you all are able to do this. Okay. All right. It's just that you are just. That's why it sometimes helps to be among with others and ask questions and see that how we all have to struggle. Okay. Again, let me stress to you. Eventually, you will struggle, but it will no longer bother you. Okay. It will be a while. Yes. Go ahead. Yellow.
So we have Rushu,
Yes.
and then next Yongjin.
Okay. Go ahead.
Rushu. Rushu, you're muted now.
Kong still has a problem with the internet thing. Maybe you should have a dual thing. They should write it down while waiting so that we at least have two means of relaying the questions to us. Okay?
Yeah.
That would. Next. And come back to it.
영진 질문해
오케이.
주세요.
네.
Yojin.
Yes. Hello, Master.
Hello.
My
How's
capability. Sorry.
How is it going? She's the one who's, right? It's so cool. It's a neat trick. You should try it.
That was really simple way, but now I am having a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So what's your question?
Yeah, my capability of meditation differs a lot by day. One day I can do it.
Oh no, that's terrible.
One day I can do it for 15 minutes, but the other day I cannot do it for 5 minutes. So, but most of the days are endurable. So when I cannot really extend it to 20 to 30 minutes, I try to cross my legs for at least 5 minutes and then do it again to 5 minutes and then do it again 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And that sometimes takes a whole day.
Yeah.
But
You don't have to work.
Yeah, but does that, like summing up all of those particles and make it to 20 to 30 minutes, would that still?
No, sorry.
No?
You wasted days on nothing.
Oh.
What were the
That's sad.
instructions? What are the instructions?
Sit longer.
Sit longer. And what else?
Do not unfold your legs.
Okay? Don't quit. Okay? What did you do?
Quit.
You quit. So try it again. You failed. That's all. There's some good days and some bad days. And part of the training is that doesn't matter how bad some days are, you don't quit. The good days don't count. It's when you don't quit that it matters. And that's why you look forward to those bad days where you can't sit for more than 5 minutes and say, oh, this is so great. I'm not going to quit. Okay? Thank you, Lord. Okay? That's what this is about. It's not about if I can do 50 minutes. Oh, I'm so cool, I can do 50 minutes. No, you brag to me when I say, I cannot sit for 5 minutes, but you know what? I did not quit until 6 minutes. And then I decided 6 minutes, but wait a minute. The last time was 50 minutes. How can I quit at 6 minutes? What kind of person am I? I'm going to sit for 7. You see, you do whatever it takes to sit until you reach your goal. See, that's how you solve problem. That's a problem you want to solve. You don't want to solve a problem by cheating and say, oh, I need to sit longer, so can I, sit like multiple sits, smaller sits? It doesn't work. It's not the same. You just don't quit. You decide to quit, 20 times or 50 times instead of one time. It's not the same. Okay? You see, you're too smart. That's a problem. Okay? You're too smart for your own good. That's a problem with people in the world. And you don't control that, you're going to be in trouble. Because you will find ways to cheat and take shortcuts when you're not supposed to. Okay? And that's not good for you or for the people around you. The rules in the world where we're not supposed to take shortcuts. Okay? So this is very important. If you keep on taking shortcuts like that and justify yourself, you are undependable. Think about it. Who can trust you now? Not even yourself, because you make excuses. Okay, and that's what you're learning. The learning process is that don't quit. You challenge yourself to find a way not to quit. That is a proper thing to do, not to cut corners. You cannot cut corners. Too early for you to cut corners. The only corners you can cut, old people out there, let me tell you one tip today, okay? The only corners you can cut, okay, is eventually when you reach much higher level, that's when we give you shortcuts. Below, it's not healthy for you. Okay, the corners you can cut when you reach much higher level is called sudden teaching. That's when the good no advisor will give you shortcuts because you're ready, you deserve it. But you need to earn that. You need to earn your way. Okay, it's hard work. Okay, and that's where the rewards are. In itself, you work hard, you try hard, you struggle, and you don't quit. That is very meritorious, that is very virtuous. Okay? Smart people, a dime a dozen. Many smart people you can buy. But it's that virtue not of being able to hang in there and not quit no matter what is what makes you a better person than the rest. Okay? It's just like when you work when you want to make a sword. Okay, the Japanese, the samurai swords is probably the best sword technology making in the whole world. Okay, they make the best swords. Okay, and the reason that they make the best swords, the samurai swords, is because they know how to work the steel. And Chan meditation is turning your mind and your body into that best steel possible, so that you can put it to any purpose that you deem worthy of you. And it takes secrets, okay? There's a way to work, and that's what you're undergoing at these Chan classes here, is that we are helping you shed all your impurities so that you become eventually, you know what, much better than the steel in the samurai sword. Your body eventually, your mind will become like Vajra, the hardest substance in the whole world, in the whole universe. Okay? That's what you're capable of. All of you, bar none, by the way. Okay? Don't believe anyone else who tells you, no, you're too old, no, you're too white, no, you're too yellow, no, you're too short, no, you're too fat, no, you're too ugly. It doesn't matter. No, you're too rich, no, you're too poor. Doesn't matter. Okay? It's fantastic what you're capable of, and you need to turn that body into Vajra. Okay? All of us can become Vajra. That's the Buddha's wisdom. Okay? All right. Yes, Black.
Emitofuo, Master. I have a question, because when my children sit at home and their leg is getting pain and they say, Mom, this is so not normal. And
Yes.
I say, yes, it's not normal, but stick to it and you're going to see something. Only you can feel it.
Okay. Very good. And what is the question? What is the problem?
So my question is, what is the best way to answer and help so that to teach them so that they can sit longer?
How long can they sit?
Depend. If my son play game, then he can sit up to 3 hours.
3 hours? Okay. And
But
what's
no game, then he probably 1 hour.
okay? Okay. I don't know about you. And please don't quote me on this. I like electric shocks. I'm kidding. Okay. No, children. If you're here's what happens. Children, you have to bribe them. You need to train them like you train dolphins. You know how they train dolphins? They make them do tricks, then give them a sardine. Okay? And then you see that the trainer do that. You know, here's some candy, some sardine, and so forth. That's how children are. Okay. At first, you have to train them. You have to entice them by giving them rewards. Okay. And another thing you might want to try is some rivalry. It not only works for children, but also works for adults as well. Okay, especially monks. They always try to outdo each other. So So you need to have some kind of reward system for them, okay? But also, in your particular case, some of them probably won't tell you, but some of them will enjoy the peace of mind and the clarity of mind that they experience after long sits. Okay? And if they can experience that, then they're hooked for life, because they will not be able to find anything else that works as well as enduring the leg pains there. Okay? That's the number one. For example, for Master Xianren, which I see here on the screen here, her son could not sit in full lotus. So what she did when Jared was younger is to tie his legs up, and it didn't matter if he cried or whatever. Do not call Child Protective Services in the U.S. You get in trouble with them. Okay, but for kids, it's easy to do that. And after that, I hope that she bribed him or rewarded him accordingly. Okay, so you train them. Okay, and after a while, in our temple, we have a lot of kids who are able to sit in full lotus. So the rivalry and the competitiveness, it helps them a lot. So your family has a lot of children. You may like praise some of them. Say you sit, oh, see, you look at, this person sits so long and so nice and so forth. It's such a special. Trust me, there's a magic, by the way, for all of you, not just children. The longer you sit, the more magical, the more good things you get for yourself, guaranteed. Okay? You discovered yourself. Okay? Just sit longer and longer and longer, you see. Okay? For yourself. Okay? And again, you sit longer because you're able to not quit. Okay? So that's part of the training. So become more tolerant, become more patient, and you are stronger mentally. Okay, the adversity, the hardships don't bother you as much. And if you are depressed, if you have some mental challenges, your head will be clear. Okay, so you get some relief in that process. Yeah. But one of my students, he's severely depressed, and now he sits 6 hours a day, and he's a teenager. Okay, and he feels good. That's why he's doing it. He goes to school and then and does his homework, and then whatever it takes, he would sit 6 hours a day. It's very unusual, and so he develops skills. He's able to utilize it to bring him peace of mind and bring him relief from his torments. So he's very special. So I assure you, in general, these kids are learning a very, very useful skill. What you might want to do, because you are not trained to teach, what we might need to do is set up a meditation class for the children, so that we bring to the point where it might take a little bit of time, years even, if it takes. It might get to that point. But we are much better positioned than you, much more experienced than you in how to train them and how to encourage them. Okay, it's fantastic that you're able to do that, and you can somehow manage to convince them to come on Saturday morning or something like that, or one of these, when we're here, we can do a session for the kids, okay, and coach them, okay. Until then, you just ride them, okay. The advantage of the kids being able to sit in full lotus is that they're healthier, they are protected against the COVID-19, okay. You sit for an hour or two, most children will not be bothered by the COVID-19, okay. It will heat up their body, and they discover, Time is up? Oh, yeah, that's right. We have an 8 o'clock class coming up. Okay, sorry. I need to cut it short. Okay, thank you, everyone. I will see you next time. Okay, hang in there. Okay, thank you. Okay.